Certainly, that would be the Colts, okay? Indy leads the NFL in points, yards, you name it. They lead it, as you can see there. Not currently an area of strength for the Steel Curtain. Of course, that's their opponent. That points per drive, by the way, has not been seen by any team since the 07 Patriots. I mean, that's just how historic this is at this point. Peter,
first.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
They're so good.
They're so good. Peter, how do you expect that Colts offense to continue to roll this week?
They're punishing too. You know, we could talk about Alec Pearson, what he does in the deep game, and we could talk about some of the stuff they do through the air with Daniel Jones, but it really starts up front. And I got a text from an NFL source who said, Quentin Nelson should just wear a gold jacket out there when he plays. This is how well he's playing this season. And he's like, you're going to be on ESPN talking Colts. Why am I not hearing Quentin Nelson being praised? Because he's an offensive guard. All right, we don't do a lot of offensive guard talks. But if we're talking about the Colts #1 across the board and Jonathan Taylor having this breakout season, we have to give love to a former top 10 pick at the offensive guard position. Quentin Nelson got engaged over the offseason. Quentin Nelson is now not one of the young guys in the league we always talk about. He's one of the veteran ones, but he sets the tone. He is the captain. He has become the vocal leader in that locker room. And if you watch Quentin Nelson at the line of scrimmage, you get a feel for what this Colts team really is all about. It's not razzle dazzle. It's not so much sizzle. It's we're going to beat you up at the line of scrimmage. And maybe that's what's going to make them relevant come cold weather games in December, January, and who knows, maybe February.
Yeah, his health is a big deal as well. I don't think he's been healthy as much over the past couple of seasons. I think that Peter's talking about the physical presence of their offensive line. I would argue that this is probably the best RPO offense in the NFL right now. It looks so much like the 22 Eagles. Just pay attention to all the different parts of this. So left hash formation into the boundary, Pittman, Jr., Tyler Warren, and then the back, Jonathan Taylor up top. Okay, here comes the motion from the bottom of the screen, and then ball gets snapped, okay? So now it's a four-man surface. There's that offensive line just running double teams, okay? But at the same time, Daniel Jones is reading the defense. If that defensive end squeezes, now it becomes the pass RPO option of that, and it's a high-low read of that hook defender. That hook defender, what does he do? With that linebacker having vision on Daniel Jones. If that hook defender stays inside, we're going to kick the ball to the flat, okay? That's an easy. If he goes to the flat, well, Pittman's just going to essentially replace him when it comes to the depth of that defense. So they're running 3 plays in one there. This is one of my favorites of the season. 2x2, formation into the boundary at the bottom. There goes Warren in motion. Ball gets snapped right now. Okay, here's this double team to a backer in space. He's reading the backside backer, the quarterback, Daniel Jones. If that backside backer stays outside, we can either hand the ball off or then we can throw the bubble up top. There's 2 options. Or if he goes inside, now with that outside leverage, because the cut split, there's Michael Pittman Jr. again replacing it. And the big thing for me on those is Pittman's frame makes this so easy. Those are 3 or 4 plays all getting called at once. It's the most, I feel like, diverse RPO game in the NFL right now.
Wow. Talking to Daniel Jones last week, we asked him about that, the RPO game, and he did it with the New York Giants. Was it that with the Giants that helped him do it now? He was just like, he felt like he had to go through that to get to where he is now. He said the way the Indianapolis Colts do their RPO, he feels like it's above every other team. To your point, when you're showing that for me as a defender, and you're like, all right, he sees a linebacker go here. He can hand it off, he can throw the bubble, or he can throw this. It makes this offense so complicated and diverse to be able to match up against. So when I look at it from a defensive standpoint, what are the things you got to do? You see Sternad right there. You have to build a wall and attack the line of scrimmage. Second, you got to get pressure on Daniel Jones. And I know he's performed well under pressure and against the blitz. But if he's just back there and he can read the defense, he'll carve you up. Buda Baker did a great job against the Indianapolis Colts of just standing still. So much we think on defense that you have to disguise and run around the field, show something this way, rotate this way. There was so many times before the snap, him and Jalen Thompson, they were just standing there, just like this, as safeties, not moving. And I think for Daniel Jones, he's gotten so good at recognizing what the defense is, and boom, right now he knows where to go.
For him.
Yes.
It's like one guy is the person who tells him what to do with the football. So while there's all those different options, it's such a clean process of information because it's one person.
He looks authoritative, which is something that we hadn't seen before. By the way, the Steelers have tackled ball carriers at or behind the line only 11% of the time this season, third lowest rate in the NFL. Believe it or not, we are just 5 days away to the trade deadline. Can't wait to see which teams decide to make some moves, what happens with all of it. We got Adam and Peter here. Let's start with Adam. What are some names you've heard in trade rumors over the past 24 hours or so?
Well, Laura, I think there's some focus on wide receivers here leading up to the trade deadline. The New Orleans Saints have Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave, and the veteran Brandon Cooks. They're working to try to re-sign Chris Olave, which would seem to indicate that they perhaps would be willing to listen on the other players like Rashid Shaheed and Brandon Cooks. Those are not the only receivers that are drawing interest across the league. Jacoby Myers could generate some interest. He's asked to be traded. The Raiders are hesitant to move him unless they got an offer that they felt was fair and substantial. And so far, that has not happened nor materialized. And of course, there are questions about other players out there right now at the pass rush position, waiting to see whether any of them become free. But we've seen so far in the month of October, 8 trades. 8. I would say that the over-under from now till Tuesday might be 5 more, bringing us to 13 by Tuesday. We'll see whether that comes under, whether it comes over, but I would think at least 5 more between now and Tuesday.
All right, some key info there, people. Peter, there's one division you're keeping a close eye on in the coming days. Which one is it?
I think the AFC East is fascinating. I think there's been a lot of dialogue over the Buffalo Bills' need to go and find themselves an outside receiver, a deep threat. The problem is the Buffalo Bills are in South.
What's up, Steelers Kingdom? This is Steelers Nation Wire, and today we're diving deep into one of the boldest potential moves our organization could make. A move that could change the tone of the season, shift momentum, and send a message to the rest of the league. I'm talking about bringing in Demario Davis. Yes, the veteran linebacker, the leader, the man with a resume and a mission to the black and gold. Sit tight, because this is going to be raw, unfiltered, and full tilt for you fans. The situation. The 2025 season has presented a golden opportunity for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's not sugarcoat it. They are currently sitting in a place of potential. They've positioned themselves at 4-3, and while that's not dominant, it's enough to say, this is the moment. The door is open. The division is vulnerable. The time is now. But as any Steelers faithful knows, potential means nothing without execution. And one key area of concern? Their defense. The unit that once defined Steelers football with bruising hits and disciplined chaos is now showing cracks. Big ones. Now imagine injecting a figure like Demario Davis into that mix. Someone who brings not just tackles and stats, but presence, respect, leadership. Someone who wakes up in the climate of old-school Steelers defense while still playing at a high level in today's game. Let's break it down. Who is Demario Davis? Davis is a seasoned NFL linebacker, born January 11th, 1989, standing 6'2", weighing around 248 pounds. He was drafted in the 3rd round of the 2012 NFL Draft by the New York Jets, pick 77, after playing college football at Arkansas State University. Over his career, he has racked up big numbers, over 1,400 career stops, over 500 tackles in recent seasons, and remains one of the rare linebackers still playing at this level deep into his career. He's not just a guy who shows up and takes snaps, he's a guy who takes control. Why he fits the Steelers now? Instant impact leadership. Pittsburgh's linebacker core has been questioned. The pass defense is in the cellar, missing assignments, reacting late, giving up big plays. The article we referenced notes that the linebacker core has underperformed significantly, with Alondo Highsmith and the overall unit failing to provide the playmaking expected from a Pittsburgh defense. Having Davis in the mix would bring veteran leadership, discipline, and a tone setter for younger players to follow. Playmaking ability and reliability. Even at 36 years old, as of 2025, Davis is still producing. Over the 2025 season, he's registered significant tackles, 37 solo tackles through 8 games, and 2 forced fumbles. He is still making impact plays. For a defense that sputters in creating those moments, that's huge. Short-term fix with upside. The article outlines that Davis is on an expiring contract and is an expendable asset for the New Orleans Saints, given their rebuild, making this a realistic trade candidate for the Steelers. His addition doesn't call for a long rebuild. It calls for urgency. That aligns with Pittsburgh's window to maximize their talent while they can. Cultural fit. The Steelers' identity has always been about toughness, smart football, and playing with heart. Davis embodies that. He's not flashy for the sake of flash. He's consistent, accountable, a leader on and off the field. That's the kind of tone you want in Pittsburgh. The trade and what it could mean. According to the trade scenario piece, the Steelers could acquire Davis from the Saints in exchange for a 2026 sixth-round pick. Minimal cost, high reward. This isn't a blockbuster, but rather a smart, focused addition. If the Pittsburgh pulls the trigger, immediate upgrade at linebacker, immediate jump in leadership, immediate message to the league. We're not messing around. One could imagine the Steelers lining up Davis next to their younger linebackers, having him center the calls, aligning the second level, cleaning up the junkyards, and building a more disciplined unit. It could be the difference between giving up 3 big plays a game and limiting teams to 2 or less. Over a full season, that difference adds up. Risks? Sure, but the upside outweighs. Some will say he's aging. What's left in the tank? Yes, at 36 years old, there is natural decline. But remember, Davis has played at a high level for years, has avoided severe injury, and remains productive. His experience offsets some physical decline. In fact, his ability to read plays, position himself, anticipate, those are skills that don't suddenly disappear with age. Another risk? Integrating a veteran into a new system mid-season can be disruptive. Chemistry matters. But again, with Pittsburgh's need for stabilization, the disruption might be worth the trade-off. Let's be honest, the defense needs something different. My conclusion? A winning move for Steelers Nation. Here's where I stand. If the Steelers execute this move and bring Davis in, we win. Not necessarily yield immediate perfection, but we win the narrative, we win the mindset, and we improve in a meaningful way. We shift from vulnerable to dangerous. That's exactly what this season needs. The window is open. Get sharper, get tougher, get Davis. Let's not let this slip. Steelers Nation, I want you to believe it. This team can not only make the playoffs, but they can make noise. They can disrupt the expected order of the AFC North and beyond. With Aaron Rodgers, with weapons on offense, with a defense that has been struggling but has the bones of something better, this kind of move could be the spark. So let's go into this week with urgency. Let's raise the volume. Let's demand excellence. And if we get our house in order, if we lean into the opportunity, we might just turn this into something special. And now I want to hear from you. Do you believe adding Demario Davis to the Steelers defense would be a game changer? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button if you're all in for Steelers Nation. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to Steelers Nation Wire because we're riding this wave all season. Stay loud, stay proud, and as always, let's go Steelers.